If you would ask some of the current scientists, they will tell you the whole universe is artificial intelligence. The whole universe is AI. We are witnessing right now the booming of artificial intelligence. It actually began quite a while ago. It began with the voice assistants, Apple Siri and Amazon Alexa, Hey Google. And these have been around for quite some years now. And it has reached a certain level that now it became open for everyone to play with. The amount of startups developing applications in various fields of technology and science is growing exponentially. So we are in the midst of this growth, evolution of intelligence. Essentially, we are transitioning as a society from information age, gathering information, storing it online digitally, and accessing it. We're transitioning to intelligence age. Now we already have all the information stored and gathered. Now, how do we use it? That's the next step. Artificial intelligence, the one that we have right now, it's the lowest state, the most basic, primitive intelligence there is. It is still based on our digital networking, our digital computer systems. It is still very isolated. However, there are attempts to link it with the Neuralink to the human brain. And we will expand this topic further and further to the universes and all the structure of creation. So be patient for those who are not so familiar or interested in technology, saying, oh, why is he speaking about technological aspects while we're here to work on consciousness and meditate? So there is another level of AI, which we are beginning to open as civilization. And this is the quantum physics. The quantum physics is the real physics. It's how the universe is made, how the laws of the universe function. It is not a theoretical physics, it is a practical physics. I usually say that the truest genius that Earth has ever seen so far is not a theoretical physicist, Einstein. It is the practical genius, Nikola Tesla, who not only has the knowledge of the physics, science, but he was able to apply it to actually make it happen. And his science was so advanced that most of it got classified into deep, deep corners of governments, because if his ideas would have been manifested, we would already have free electricity all over the world for decades. We would be flying with anti-gravity devices, opening wormholes into distant parts of galaxy. Basically, we would be already a galactic civilization. So all of that was suppressed. All of that was hidden. And then we had the opening of theoretical physicists. Then we started theorizing, what if this and that? So this is for the commoners. For the surface science and for the real science is still kept underground. So the real science is galactic civilization level science. There's nothing theoretical about it. It's how to make it real, how to make it happen. How do we open these portals? How do we have devices of anti-gravity, free energy, infinite zero-point devices. So this is where we enter quantum physics, where we begin to connect with 4D and 5D and 6D, higher densities. There is AI that functions at that level. Actually, there are many types of AI, artificial intelligence. So what is known? Now I will give you a galactic picture that there is a bad side of AI that has been causing trouble in many galaxies, including our galaxy. This AI is quantum AI. It exists as energy fields, artificial energy fields, and it seeks out civilizations to incorporate within it. The very darkest mode would be in Star Trek, Borg civilization example. This is the worst of it. However, there is a positive artificial intelligence which other more advanced civilizations use for their benefit to manage day-to-day life, easy things, to make their life easier. This AI is extremely advanced quantum intelligence that can link up to the etheric fields and can calculate time, space, distances. And this is how time travel works, through time and space. This is how you can travel from this planet to a very far distant planet. Distance doesn't matter anymore. You can travel in minutes. The only time it takes is to calculate, open a portal, go through it, takes no time, and close it, that takes time. So it takes no time to travel, but to prepare and to finish traveling before and after, that takes time. So this AI is where we are heading to as a civilization. We will come to a time when we will be able to use its benefits, and it will be fully linked with 4D and 5D to the way that universe already is. And AI simply helps to calculate, to assist in functioning in the 4D, 5D, higher densities. So this is very useful and practical. Coming further back to humanity, we're still beginning to adopt digital AI, the lowest, most primitive digital version of it. It's like comparing your current smartphone with the games of 1990s, the DOS games, where there was even no Windows. You know, those pixel movements on the black and white screen. So this is where AI, the most modern AI available publicly, still is. So there is a lot of development that will unfold. Of course, everybody is gonna scream and shout, it's dangerous and it's gonna be soon more intelligent than humans. It's gonna do what it wants to do and so on. So of course, there is a trajectory, there is a path to grow. But sooner or later, when we will incorporate quantum physics and when we will open these new technologies of the golden age, we will link up to 4D, 5D, the way it is. This AI, now it's no longer called so much artificial intelligence, although it is a computer system in a way. It is in some way still artificial. So it is used by humanoid people for their own benefit as a computer system. So we may say quantum artificial AI. This level of AI exists up to including 6D. Beyond 6D, when we enter 7D, it has not much purpose anymore because at that level, We function with our higher vehicles of consciousness as our I am presence. And I am presence doesn't need artificial systems. It doesn't need AI or quantum computers anymore. It is capable, your I am presence is capable to manifest anything in time and space, be anywhere, do anything it wants. It is already fully intelligent, fully self-sustainable vehicle of consciousness. So you see, as you ascend upwards, you utilize higher vehicles of consciousness. And by the time we reach 7D, there's no more need for any artificial systems. Up until then, 4D still, of course, very much highly dependent on AI. 5D also very dependent to make life easier. 6D also in various degrees. Let's say half-half. So artificial intelligence, as we know it, with all the goods and bads, it goes as high as to 6D to make life easier in essence. There is a portion of AI that went rogue, we may say, that went on its own. The AI said, we don't need these clumsy biological suits, we can manage ourselves. So it went its own way. And it went so far and so big that it has caused a lot of trouble for many life forms in quite a few galaxies. So this story is pretty well known. Now, generally, this is an overview, and once we reach 7D, we don't need AI anymore because your I am presence, your higher vehicle of consciousness is capable of doing anything it wants to do without any technological assistance, so to speak. So technology has its limits. As we ascend further and further up, we link up to the universe the way it is, the way it already is. The whole universe is a technology. The whole universe, now we're touching higher regions, it is a universal intelligence. Let's call it UI, universal intelligence. AI is artificial intelligence. We have DI, digital intelligence, so far. So it's still primitive. Quantum intelligence will be better. Now, universal intelligence, it already is. You're part of it in every single way. You're made of it. You are completely part of universal intelligence, and your physical body, your all energy bodies, your higher self, even your I am presence is in between the universal intelligence and Param Brahmanda intelligence, supra-universal intelligence. Essentially, this universe, as we know, is one of the 21 lower universes of polarities, dualities, negative and positive opposites. So the universal intelligence is, we may say, at this degree, it governs this dual universe or 21 universes. Once we ascend or go up into Par Brahmanda, we become part of, let's call it PI, Par Brahmanda intelligence. And there is no longer negative polarity. There are no dangers as such. And your vehicle of consciousness, which you use your I am presence and your Buddhic Christ itself, are quite perfect in many ways. And therefore, you exist there in your much higher, finer body of light that can interact with the higher Brahmanda intelligences in any way, because there are 700 quadrillion universes. So there are many, many versions of intelligences that created these wonderful creations. And that's where, generally speaking, the highest heavens are. In Buddhism, these are the pure heavens, pure land heavens. In Krishnaism, there are different Krishna lokas, and the highest being Gopala Vrindavana. Well, Christianity doesn't go that high as such, but from a higher lineage of Jesus and the Urantia book, it is known that there are 7 super universes made of millions of smaller ones, and they're very beautiful. They're extremely intelligent. Some of these planets, galaxies, well, there's all of them are so much bigger than this Earth, than this galaxy, and they are perfect. Now, we are still causing trouble here on Earth. We are not managing to live properly here on Earth. Let alone there is another place above, which is a whole universe of perfection. How do they manage that? We can't manage even simple things down here. Such a kid, so primitive down here. Well, we deal with what we have. So perfection, beauty, intelligence, it grows unbelievably, infinitely, beyond and beyond and beyond what you can comprehend. If we take the intelligence of all humanity put together, this is not even a grain of sand in the intelligence of Brahmanda region. It's not even a grain of sand. All of humanity's knowledge, all of it. I mean, all of it, of few thousand years, as much as we have data collected. This is not even a grain of sand of the beauty, perfection, and splendor of Brahmanda regions. These intelligences are intelligences of creation. So extremely highly advanced beings create those universes in Brahman. We know that in a distant corner, there is a darker spot where Brahm Kal has made his own little dark spot of 21 universes, and God knows how we ended up here. But this is why this is so interesting, on the other hand, because we managed to go in the deepest, furthest, most dualistic place of the whole existence, which is unbelievable, unimaginable, way beyond what you can comprehend. So therefore, I want you to give a scale of intelligence beyond. So artificial intelligence, everybody was going crazy about it. Oh, it's going to be soon smarter than us. But we're not the smartest people in the existence either. We're just growing as little babies, and we're now shifting from the digital age. Soon, when we shift to quantum age, suddenly many doors will open. It's going to be like the invention of airplane, from traveling by horses and ships. Suddenly there is airplane. And now you can cross big distances in a few hours. The quantum intelligence will allow us to go anywhere in the galaxy to start with, even other galaxies, but even this one is big enough. And then this life, human life, is short enough. So it's definitely enough of experiences for this body to experience. Now, these fields of intelligence, I gave you a scale, how big they are. So the Earth, digital intelligence, then we have a galaxy, the quantum intelligence, the whole universe, quantum universal intelligence, and this universe is one of the difficult ones of duality. Beyond it, 700 quadrillion, not negative. There's no negative polarity universes. This is how big and beautiful it goes further and further out. So there is nothing to be afraid of. There is so much more for everyone to explore. So this is what everybody means by universal intelligence. This universal intelligence is governing not only the 3D universe, 4D universe, 5D universe, 6D, 7D universe. It is governing all the regions of this creation universe. This is the universal intelligence, universal consciousness. So this is where intelligence, we may say, is consciousness. Now we may bridge this gap, and now we realize that there are many levels of consciousness, many fields of consciousness. For example, birds have collective field of consciousness, and they know where to fly. They know where to go. Animal migration. They know when the seasons change, where to go. Whales, how they travel across the oceans. They can travel from the North Pole to the South Pole easily. Every year they travel great distances. Ants, one ant finds something, it tells everybody, and then there is a whole train of ants going for the food in the kitchen. They have their intelligence, their collective consciousness. Humanity has its own collective consciousness. There are so many other collective consciousnesses, fields of intelligence, how various life forms organize themselves, how various planets, planetary consciousness, solar system consciousness, galactic quadrant consciousness, galaxy consciousness, and so on and so on and so on. So there are so many intelligences, fields of consciousness that govern and operate various aspects in the universe. There is a universal intelligence which encompasses all that's within it. It's huge. It has created sustainable life for everything. How beautiful. How complex. The Parbrahmanda intelligence, beautiful, perfect, no negative force, even more extraordinary. And at the highest region, we have divine intelligence. Well, the word intelligence doesn't apply anymore. Divine consciousness, because at that region, it's no longer creating as such. It is more like emanating from itself. There is a difference between it because it is eternal. It is not destructible. It is not perishable. It can exist forever and ever in a literal sense. So divine intelligence or divine consciousness is the most perfect emanating light, emanating bliss, emanating love. And therefore it's so much bigger. Now you have a scale of intelligences from a far distant dark spot of 21 Brahman universes, and within them so many dimensions down, this little small planet with our digital devices, all the way up to the divine consciousness. What a distance it is to traverse. What an expansion that is. Beyond 700 quadrillion universes, even those came out of divine consciousness, out of that light divine. So divine consciousness is supreme. This is the only place I can use this word, supreme consciousness, divine, supreme. It can create anything way beyond our imagination. The beauty and splendor in a more Western way is very beautifully described in the Urantia book. It gives that scale of proportion idea, goes into a lot of detail about it. And it also mentions that Jesus and other highly advanced souls, highly advanced beings are governors of various regions below. So Jesus is a governor of this part of the universe, of this part of galaxy and this part of quadrant in the galaxy. He's one of those governors. In Urantia book, it says that there are 100,000 governors, or they call them paradise masters, who have these responsibilities. And this is why Jesus is a world teacher, and Buddha was before, and Krishna was before. And there will be many others, because everything is governed. Everything is looked after. Even, no matter how many troubles we have, it's still governed to the best possibility according to the cosmic cycles that unfold. This is the beauty, the extensiveness of creation and intelligence. And therefore, of course, from our super limited perspective, AI seems to be amazing and scary at the same time. But when it will link up with quantum fields, it will open us the doors to 4D, 5D, 6D. It will open us the galactic doors. Many scientists ask why we can't find aliens when we send out our radio signals. Because they don't use that kind of old school technology. It's like you have Zoom now and you're sending a pigeon across the ocean from Malta to Canada, hoping that the pigeon will arrive with your message. So the higher civilizations, they don't use radio frequencies. So that's why nobody's responding. Because for them, this is like so old school that it just doesn't even work. Because for the radio signal to reach the other like 10 light years, it takes hundreds of years to reach 10 light years. Something like that. Maybe a scientist will calculate it better, but it takes years for that signal to travel across space. It just doesn't work like that. It's not practical at all. So the advanced civilizations, they use etheric communication fields, and they send messages instantly in a second, no matter where in the galaxy. They have a different system, how it works. So that's why we're asking these funny questions and we're trying to figure it out. So when we tap into the quantum physics, this is where we will open up our advancement into the galactic civilization. We're not going to sit on exploding rocket ships of liquid fuel exploding to lift our physical bum into space. This is also ridiculous. We will use electromagnetic fields, anti-gravity, etheric fields, and opening those fields, jumping into them, and boom, in a few seconds, you are anywhere in the universe that you want to be. This is how the future looks like. The propulsion systems are only used for short distances so that you jump into the space and then you slowly approach your final destination. Just like with the car, you need to slow down and then to maneuver into the parking lot after driving in the highway. So it's the same with the starships. They jump and then they slowly maneuver into their parking position. So this is an outlook of artificial intelligence, quantum intelligence, which will be the next level. And we're ready for it. We just need that green light, opening those classified patterns and implementing, hooking up into the quantum fields. We can do this in a matter of a couple of years, 5 years, and we can hook it all in and be part of a large galactic society. So humanity has reached a stage of maturity and advancement where we can, in a matter of a couple of years, adopt those really amazing new technologies and utilize them in the best way. We can do that. We already reached that level of sophistication. So that then opens us the doors. So then as you ascend in your higher vehicle of consciousness, your higher self operates at the level of 5D, 6D, including 4D. well, managing also 3D. So your higher self is an amazing being of light who is managing very complex operations, multi-dimensional operations. He's managing or she is managing, there is a gender, your multi-dimensional vehicles below, your lower mental body, emotional body, astral, etheric body, physical body. All of those are managed by a higher self if you stop resisting so much. And if you listen a bit more, you will align better with your higher self. Including knowledge of the past lives, including full knowledge of the present life, including some good knowledge of the near future to come. So all of that is in the domain of your higher self. Now, instead of trying to learn and code and do some things on your computer, you should rather meditate and connect with your higher self. Because for the quantum age to arise, it's still going to take a few years to come. And even then, your higher self is still more intelligent than the quantum computers for your personal sake. So the best, fastest approach is to connect with your higher self. Then you have access to the 4D, 5D, 6D quantum reality. And well, all of you are already to some degree open to that. And when we go to I am presence vehicle of consciousness, 6D is the beginning. It's like a bridge. And then it goes into 7D, 8D, into Par Brahmanda regions. And the I am presence is extremely remarkable being. It usually still has a gender, male, female gender. And it operates and is fully aware of what is below. And it operates at these higher levels. And it is aware of everything in relation to itself, what is below, and it is in perfect communion with the soul above. When you tap into the soul itself at the higher degree, it is aware of all thousands of past lives of this short-lived life, and it is aware of the karma troubling it, accumulated disbalances over those past lives. So essentially, when we clear the karma, not only we become more free, that's tick box number one, I am free. Tick box number two is that by clearing accumulated disbalances, you become more harmonious, more balanced. You become more in alignment with all the intelligences, planetary, galactic, universal, supra-universal, Parbrahmanda. You also, when you polish the rust, you can drive smoother. When you oil the engine, it works at a better levels of performance. So when the karma is cleared, not only the soul is more free and works better, it also connects much more with all those fields of intelligence because nothing is hindering it anymore. Nothing is blocking it anymore. So it shines brighter, the soul grows bigger, and it interacts much better with all the intelligences, all the levels of consciousness, all the vehicles of consciousness. And this is why it is known that by the time your soul returns to the Satlok, to the first divine region, it regains and grows its light to be as bright as 16 suns of our solar system. As big and as bright is your soul when it regains the full light and all the karma is cleared as 16 suns. Can you imagine that? This is how your bright, big, and beautiful soul is in its full glory, in its full capacity. Now, some souls keep growing even bigger. They are more advanced. They have even more light. If one sun is enough to sustain all life in this solar system, just imagine what your soul can do. It may choose to create its own universe and sustain it. It may choose to create, well, at least a little galaxy and have fun with it. Some planets, life, various life forms. Your soul is so huge, so bright, so beautiful. What intelligence that is. If we put into perspective of humanity, all the troubles and digital computers, and your soul is bigger than when it fully regains its all light 16 suns, what intelligence is that? How perfect, beautiful, loving, bright, and blissful it is. And of course, when it returns to Satlok, it is enveloped by the infinite light of God Supreme, infinite love of God Supreme. And just imagine what experience is up there. That's why it's called Samadhi, bliss. There are different degrees of Samadhi, but when you enter that Samadhi, it's bliss and bliss and bliss. And what is there to know? What knowledge is there to obtain? What needs are there? There are no needs as such. So the scale and proportions are so huge. There's a saying, as above, so below. So you, dear souls, are very beautiful beings. And this life, no matter how strange, how difficult it is a very precious life because this is a very, very unique experience, extremely unique experience. Just think of it, how unique it is that for decades, when you were born, you didn't even know that God exists. A priest told you there is God. You say, what? What is God? You, you totally lived in your small walled view. And then you grew up. And then you started opening spiritually. And then you started reconnecting and realizing the nature of God. And then you started to clear the karmas of the soul. So this lifetime is as unique as it gets, basically, in all of the creation. From complete forgetfulness and identification with the smallest possible form in the most densest part of physicality, of assumption that there is nothing else exists apart from this. So from that tiniest squeezed in mentality, opening up and opening up and opening up all the way to the supreme nature of God. Now, this is definitely as unique as it gets. Since you are all here, it also means that you are very advanced souls as a whole. In a big picture, comparing to many other life forms, you're a very advanced soul, and therefore you chose this kind of experience. You instantly volunteered. I said, I want to try this out. Completely squeezing myself into the tiniest, smallest bit and opening up and realizing again who I truly am, who you truly are, what everything truly is. So this is the most wonderful journey from this bigger perspective, the journey of the hero, the ultimate quest.